great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion. Oh, I gotta turn on the camera. Sorry about that, everybody. I forgot to turn on the camera. How is everybody? Welcome back to the Immigration Answer Show. You never know what's going to happen. We're going to have an hour of hilarity and giggling about the immigration process. How's everybody doing? Sorry about that. What is going on? I was just writing in my notebook an idea for a video. It's called Get Your Ass Back to the United States. I saw that somebody was putting in the comments, oh, my wife's been out of the country for 3 months. Well, tell her to get her ass back to the United States. I think I might make a shirt. Get your ass back to the United States. Don't cut it too close. Don't be too clever. Get your ass back to the United States. That's what I have to say about that. All right, I'm a little distracted, a little bit discombobulated, still fasting. Today is March 25th, the 25th day of Ramadan. It's episode 796, and I'm getting ready to be a nomad. I'm going to be out of town for a good long while here, and I'll be doing shows from all over God's green earth, all over these United States. So you never know where I'll be. You never know. Probably going to see some airport shows, which I know Tony likes, especially when I think that I'm missing my flight. Tony gets a big kick out of that. He's still hoping that we have the belly dancers, and he knows that I'm excited about getting Diet Pepsi back in the routine, our official sponsor of the Hacking Immigration Show. I did an interview on a Canadian news show the other day, and my mom and my sister and my niece all saw my dad's bobblehead right there. That's my dad, right next to Saul Goodman. And so they all got a kick out of seeing my dad on Canadian television. All right. So again, I'm an immigration attorney. I practice law throughout the United States out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. We're also getting ready to sign our lease for our new Chicago office. But of course, immigration is federal, and we can do immigration cases throughout the United States and throughout the world because immigration is federal. Yassine, my good friend, has a question for me. Let's see. Jim, can you talk about USCIS requiring N-400 and green card applicants to surrender their social media accounts? Boy, I sure hope that's illegal. I saw a headline. I have not researched it all, Yassine. I'll wait until the actual policy comes out. I could certainly see them insisting on that, but I don't know how legal it is. I also don't know how legal it is for the IRS to be sharing immigrants' tax information with ICE. But, you know, just because it's illegal doesn't mean they won't do it. Hello, Dammy. Good to see you. Oh, David's in sunny Colorado. Do you know that the state of Colorado gets the most sun of any state in the United States, even more than California? I didn't know that. I just heard it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I've got V Ramen, then I got God in Time, then I got Gigi. So that's how we'll do it. All right, V Ramen, hello.
Good morning, Jim. How are you doing today?
That drink sure looks tasty there on your icon.
Coconut water for me. That's one of my favorite drinks.
Oh my God, when we were in Dominican Republic, the guys were chopping down the coconuts and they had the machete out. So I asked them to open one up for my wife, and they did, and she was so happy. Oh my God. She gets so happy because she loves all that stuff from home, sugarcane juice, coconut water, all that good stuff.
Awesome, Jim. Jim, question for you. So I have been in the United States 13 years. I came here as a student, did my H-1B years, and then I got my green card through my employer in the EB3 category. And no extra time out of the United States, etc., whatever. I got married in my home country, which is India, 5 years ago, and then we got divorced again in India last year. So just wondering if a divorce has any impact on my upcoming citizenship interview. I have that coming up in a few days now.
So the person that you married they were how you got your green card?
No, I got my green card through my employer, and the person that I got married to was not a U.S. citizen, and she was here on her H-1B as well. So I was a primary beneficiary of the green card.
Got it. No, I don't think so. I mean, they'll ask obviously about your marriage status, and you'll tell them that you're divorced, and it'll actually be on your naturalization certificate. But that's the only way it'll really come into play.
Okay, so I can still show the divorce decree that is certified from the home country, and that shouldn't be an issue, right? If they want to see it, because I uploaded it with the application, but
Yeah.
that's all I uploaded.
The only thing I would check is I would put into Google this phrase: visa reciprocity table India. You said India, right?
Okay. Yes, correct.
India, and then it'll tell you what a divorce decree looks like, and hopefully it all matches and you're good to go. But none of it really matters because marriage didn't really have anything to do with your immigration status.
Okay, and then otherwise, I've seen some of your videos and things about N400s and citizenship interviews, and I have a pretty much like a clean slate for my background and things, so there shouldn't be anything else, correct? Taxes, everything else is in order.
Just bring proof that you paid all your taxes, and that should be good.
Awesome, will do. Thank you, Jim. I really appreciate it,
Let us
and
know how it
I'll
goes.
let you know how it goes. Yes,
right,
I definitely will.
Thanks, V.
I've been a big fan of yours.
Thanks, man. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Thanks for the call. Good luck. When's your interview?
It's in 3 days, Friday.
Oh, good luck. Good luck. I hope it goes well.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
But yep, bye. All right, that was V Raman. We're going to go to God in Time, then Gigi, then FV. Yes, Annie, the waiting room was full before the show started. Hina was actually locked out. So you got to get on that text line, 314-470-3300. Just text the word show, SHOW, to 314-470-3300. That's how you get in the waiting room. We're going to try to knock out as many as we can. And today we're talking to God in Time. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Great. I'm doing great. How are you
Good,
doing?
good. I'm good. I have two questions here. So, I came here maybe like 2, 3 years ago, and I have a child. She's sickly, but she's originally born in Canada, but she need to have a surgery done. So we're thinking about sending her back over there to get the surgery done, because it do cost a lot here to get it done, and we don't have the documents required. Like she's out of status. So I mean, it costs a lot to get it done. So I'm thinking if I should send her over there to get it done. But the problem I have is her coming back, because I heard with kids coming from Canada, they don't have no stamps in their passport because she came by land. But when I check the I-94, it shows the last time she fly.
So she has no status in the United States right now.
Correct.
How long has she been here?
Almost 2.5 years.
How old is she?
6.
So you're asking me, Jim, would a child who has been in the United States out of status for 2.5 years be allowed back into the United States by CBP at the border?
Correct, because her passport, okay, when I went on an I-94 site, it's not showing her last entry at the border, right? For me, it's showing, but for her, it's not showing.
Right. So, but the point is, I assume that there will be an adult accompanying her, right?
Correct. I won't be. No. Yeah, I'm going to have somebody come and get her. That was the plan.
This is a terrible plan. Terrible, terrible plan. She's most likely they would not let her back into the United States.
But if it's not showing on the I-94, how would they I mean know that she's because it's not,
because you would answer truthfully when they ask the question. You don't lie to CBP to get back into the United States. If your plan is to lie to CBP to get back in the United States, that's even dumber.
No, but it wouldn't be me coming back with her. I'm not leaving.
Whoever it is. That's called human.
Okay.
You know what they call that at the border? Do you know what they call that? Do you know?
No.
They call it human trafficking.
Okay.
Talking about a child who's in the United States out of status for many years. There's no way in heck they're going to let them back in, and you can't be 100% sure that they don't even know.
Right. That's true.
Well, this is not a good plan.
Right. So I mean, because I know, like, I'm married right now, and I'm trying to get the paperwork started. But at the same time, too, to go to the hospital and do the surgery is going to cost a lot. I don't want to be I heard that when you owe these people in the hospital, they can immigration can see the amount that you owe, or if you have outstanding payments or stuff like that.
That's all true, but that's like number 7 on your list of concerns. What's the long-term plan immigration wise for you and for her?
I have a spouse right now. We haven't done the paperwork yet. I think he had a question for you in regards to tax. So I mean, that's where we at right now.
Can I just implore you to go as fast as possible?
Sure, definitely.
Way too
Yeah, go ahead.
It's way too casual.
I know. Yeah. He has a question for you too.
Yeah, hello.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing, sir? Hey, I got a question for you. I'm a business owner and I haven't filed taxes in the past couple of years, and I'm looking at the financial ramifications of waiting so long to file taxes. But and I'm willing to file them, but watching another video, watching some videos online is saying possibly this year would qualify as income, but the last 2 years, like UCIS might look at it and say that they may not qualify the last 2 years. Is that true?
When was
Like
the
if I
last
filed 3 years in 1 year, like if I
when,
filed 3 years in 1 year,
when was the
one would be
last
on time and the other two would be late.
when was the last time you filed your taxes?
Uh,
Do we lose him? Are you there?
yeah, probably in the past 5 years.
Okay, so one of the ways they make sure that people pay their taxes is they say, we're not going to give your spouse a green card and get her into status unless you have properly filed your taxes and paid all your taxes for the last 5 years. So the first thing you have to do is get your taxes in order. You need to go see an accountant. You can't do anything. You cannot sponsor her. Her case will not proceed unless your taxes are taken care of. And then you're most likely going to also need a co-sponsor. So
Okay.
that would be a U.S. citizen or green card holder who says if your wife or that 6-year-old gets benefits and they don't pay them back, then you'll pay them back. And if you can't pay them back, then the co-sponsor will pay it back.
Okay, cool. So they have to be paid as well too.
Well, they certainly have to be on file. Yeah, and I mean that's how they're going to use that as a hammer to you to make you pay your taxes.
Okay.
So you got to hurry up.
Okay. I got you. Thank
All
you.
right, good luck, guys. Yep, thanks. Yeah, we've had calls like that before. It's really a shame when people's tax situations prevent them from filing, but she's out of status 2 years, so it's gone on long enough, I would say. Gigi is here. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Sorry. So I've got a couple of questions, and I'm kind of not really sure where to start.
Okay.
So I've been kind of watching how the parole and the TPS have been going for these other countries, and a friend of mine, we sponsored for the U4U almost 2 years ago.
Okay.
And my main question, I guess, right now is, they seem to be taking longer to approve than they are noting on their website.
Longer to approve what, Gigi?
I'm sorry?
Longer to approve what? Approve a new U4U case or a different benefit?
No, the reparole,
Reparole's
and the
reparole's on hold. They're not approving reparole right now. They're being sued for that, but reparole is
okay.
on. Yep.
And the TPS extensions for them as well, correct?
Yep.
Okay, that's what I was trying to find out, because everything, like, I'm as I am looking through and trying to research what's going on, I can see the other cases for the other countries. They're in litigation, but everything else, it's like they're showing like on USCIS. They're like, hey, you can, apply for these statuses, but at the same time, then I see somewhere else, they're like, oh, well, but those are on hold. So
Both of
it's
those,
been kind of confusing.
and that's by design, because they're evil people, right? So they will take your money, they will receipt your case because the law won't let them not do that. But then they say they can arbitrarily decide and issue a memo on February 14th that we're just not going to process those cases anymore. So Ukraine is also included in those lawsuits, so you don't need to worry about that.
Okay. Now, with that, because it's they're in the lawsuit, if he were to go out of the status because his time's running out, what happens then?
Well, then you have to ask yourself, I mean, the question should have been all along, what was the long-term plan? Like, what was the ultimate plan for getting this person into status?
Sorry, go ahead.
Because we knew at some point this was going to end and they were going to need, more help. So what was the plan?
Well, the plan when he first got here was mainly find a different status. So we were trying to find a job that would hold a green card. So far, that has been
that was never going to work. That was very much a long shot.
Yes. So while we were doing that, he's been applying for the diversity lottery for years, which we know is always one of those you never know.
Right.
And what was the I had suggested asylum, but the question was what we didn't understand what exactly they would want and how you prove that. Now, one of the things that he ended up not doing that for was because somewhere he read that was the best way to be deported. And I'm like, well, but how do you know that?
Too much internet knowledge in this case. Too many people, too many experts looking for ChatGPT and Google answers. This is death by 1,000 bad pieces of advice.
Exactly. So mainly, I guess with that, what I understand that I already know that we have that year deadline that's already passed. And I know that there's sometimes that you can apply after that.
Sure. And under the U4U program, he would be able to, assuming that things act normally and these lawsuits go the right way. So asylum, I would say, is still on the table if he fears persecution going back to Ukraine.
Okay. So at this point, it's the best to look for an asylum lawyer, either through you or through someone else.
Yeah, I think that's his only shot. I mean, I don't know who told him that was his best shot at getting a deportation, but if he doesn't do asylum, he doesn't have much of anything.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Gigi.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day, kid. All right. This is the Immigration Answer Show, and we're going to go over to TikTok. Hina's got some questions for us. Thank you, Hina. Jonathan asks, do I need the original copy of the I-751 extension letter to file the N-400? No, I wouldn't say so. But if you want to travel, you do. Enzo, how safe is it for someone coming from UK with an O1 visa? I'd be prepared to be ready to fully litigate whether you're entitled to the O visa. That would be number one. Like, think of it as you might have to prove the whole case all over again. And two, if you've been coming to the United States and living here for a really long time on an O, which some people do, I'd be worried about them hitting you over the head for immigrant intent. So I would say safe, but be ready. Elman Knitter, if I claimed to be a U.S. citizen on my driver's license and I want to become a U.S. citizen, can it affect my citizenship? Yes. A false claim to U.S. citizenship is a deportable offense. A false claim to citizenship, like for a driver's license, is a deportable offense. So we would have to figure out why you did that, whether you could retract it, why that dumb thing happened. So that can keep you from ever becoming a citizen, or it could keep immigration lawyers from ever recommending that you file for citizenship. You might have to be stuck with a green card forever due to the false claim. T was the last caller yesterday. You told me to do the errata sheet, which I did, and I plan to send it today. Do I send it to the lockbox my 485 went to, or the PO box at the end of the I-797. I would do both, and I would keep proof of delivery to both. Kelton asks, will someone who's adjusting status from parole currently be protected after they run out of status? That'll be up to the lawyers, Kelton, and the judges. We'll just have to wait and see. As of right now, if you would file for adjustment while parole's in place and before their parole ends, then the law should say that they are protected. Jesus, if you pass your green card in Juarez, how do you cross over if they're not letting green card holders in? Well, you'd actually be passing your immigrant visa. And I'm not saying they're not letting green card holders in. I'm just saying some green card holder, you wouldn't even be a green card holder, Jesus, till you actually got here. So you'd be traveling on your immigrant visa. I don't think you need to worry about that. It's not so much they're not letting green card holders in. It's just that they're giving them lots of trouble. But if you have an immigrant visa in hand, you should be able to cross over. All right. We're going to do FV, then RT, then G if G turns their camera off. FV, hello.
Hi, Jane. Happy Tuesday.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm great.
So I have a question. I obtained my green card through marriage 20 days before I turned 26. Should I didn't know I should have applied to the Selective service or registered to Selective service.
Yep.
Would that be a problem when I file for the N400?
So I have a video on this on the channel. You can check it out. Look for a Selective service. This happens all the time. I would say your situation is more forgivable than most because, you know, it was 20 days, right? So did anybody during the green card process, did you have an interview for your green card or no?
Yes.
Did anybody mention to you Secret Selective Service or no?
No, nobody mentioned anybody,
Sometimes,
anything to me.
the reason I ask is sometimes they'll say, back in the old, this hasn't happened in a while to me in an interview, but in the old days, they used to say, now you're going to get this green card, and if you're still under 26, you need to register for Selective Service. So I would say, so you're going to prepare an affidavit that you're going to bring to your naturalization interview. You're going to say, you know, I got my green card with 20 days left before I turned 26. I did not know about the rule that someone had to register. Nobody told me at my interview for my green card that I needed to register, and I just didn't know the rules. I love this country. I would have served this country. I would have been happy to register for Selective Service. I didn't know about the rule, and I let it pass. And then once I realized that I was over 26 and it was impossible for me to register, please let me get my citizenship. And they'll say, okay.
Okay. Okay. So do you think that would be a major issue?
I mean, I would say historically that it's not. We're in this new bizarro world now, but I think even in bizarro world, this isn't one that they're going to hang their hats on.
Okay, gotcha. Do I have to prove them or kind of like do any kind of proof that, hey, I don't know, like a letter or something?
I was saying you should write it up like an affidavit and have it notarized and bring it with you to your interview.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, sounds good. Appreciate it. Thank you, Jim.
Everybody, yep, bye. All right. David says, seems to be in every post office. When was the last time someone was in a post office, though? That's my question. I haven't been in the post office. Well, I guess we have people here who go to the post office, but I haven't been to the post office in a long time. RT, hello.
Hello, Jim. How are you? Happy
Good.
Ramadan, and
Thank
I
you.
wish you a good iftar today.
Thank you so much.
I have a long journey with UCS. I've been in the country since 1999.
Okay.
I applied for asylum after a year. I got withhold if removable. And I get married May 2012. I applied for I-130. And I didn't apply for 45 at the time under the advice of my lawyer. And I applied after I approved for I-130, 3.5 years after. I applied for motion.
Yep.
I got dismissal. And then in the process, the first hearing court judge ordered us to apply for I-45 to get fingerprinted
Okay.
and update my address, which is I was doing anyway, but they asked for that. We did this. We came back. We got dismissal, and my I-485 was in archived somewhere for about a year. I did ask my Senate to did inquiry. They did inquiry, and they said, "Yeah, we're gonna ask for the file to come to where I am." They did that, and they send us an email for evidence. Is that normal?
What did they ask for? An email request for evidence? No, that's not normal.
So yeah, so supervisor for USCIS, and they mail me and mail my lawyer, ask him for refresh signed I-485.
That means they lost it.
Uh, does that mean I'm gonna start from
No,
scratch?
did you file your 45 with the court or with USCIS?
We file it something called EOIR. I don't know what is that
That's the
like.
court. Yeah. So
And
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
So so we send all the paper. So they ask for refresh 485, tax return, G28 for me and my wife. That's I think for the lawyer to be presented by for us.
For you. Yep. That's right.
And that was not long ago. That was like March 18. And my lawyer, like within 2 days, I prepare all my papers. I give it to the
Good.
lawyer. He take it and he handed in. He was in the court already, and he handed in to that office.
Okay.
The question is, do I have to wait? How long I have to wait? Because I've been like a year and a half waiting for my interview.
Well, so it wouldn't be an interview, it'll be in court. So you'll adjust. It sounds like you're adjusting.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. The court doesn't want to do anything with me because
Okay, so let me ask some questions real quick. Okay, so you got
yeah,
withholding of removal because you filed for asylum too late, right? And then
yeah,
you married a U.S. citizen, and you got an I-130 approved, which you filed separately without the 485, right?
yes,
And then after the I-130 was approved, your very good lawyer went to court, got your your removal order set aside, your withholding canceled, and then the plan was for you to adjust your status, right?
yes,
And then did did and then you filed the 45 with the EOIR,
yes.
which is the court.
Yeah, but the after that dismissal, she said, because my asylum
But hold on,
was
that's what I want to ask about. So did you file the 45 before the court terminated proceedings, or did you file it with USCIS after? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
before the dismissal.
Okay. So then you file the 45, and then the court says, we're done with you. We're sending you over to USCIS to adjust
Exactly.
that. Okay.
Exactly.
So what's the receipt? When did you file the 485?
January 17, 2024.
And
I got fingerprinted in February.
wait, hold on. When did the court terminate proceedings?
June 12, 2024.
Okay, good. And then you just said though that when you got the RFE for the refiled 45 and all the other stuff, you just said to me that he filed that with the court. Do you mean he was at USCIS and he gave it to them?
No, I didn't file to the court. I got an email from UCIS
Okay.
to
But
for them.
you said he dropped it off somewhere, right?
Yeah, in the USCIS.
At USCIS. Okay. In which field office is this, brother?
Newark.
Newark, New Jersey.
Yeah,
So
but the problem was he sent us to New Jersey because my asylum was in New York. So
mhm.
the judge said you gotta go back to UCIS, and where is your restriction? And we don't have restriction here for you. I'm gonna do a favor. I'm gonna dismiss the case for you, but you have to continue with USCIS.
Okay. All right. So what would be your closest USCIS field office if it's not Newark?
Newark.
Newark. Okay. Okay. So I believe that Okay, so there's probably nothing harder to pull off in immigration land, or I would say in the top 5. One of the hardest things to pull off is to get USCIS to properly process an I-45 that was originally filed in the EOIR. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So what I mean is, those are two very different agencies with different systems. And when you it's when you tell me things like they asked us for a refreshed 45, that scares me. The judge says he did you a favor, and I think he did, or she did, but they did you a favor, but it's also really hard to get the 45 properly over to USCIS and for them to properly process it. Right. And
Yes.
so, and also just generally, when you're talking about getting as far back from a withholding of removal in 22 years ago, all the way till now, to think that everything is going to follow along properly and that it's going to go along, I think at some point, RT, you will have to sue them to get a decision.
Yeah, that's my question is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how soon I can do that?
Well, I mean, your 45 has been on file for a year and 3 months.
Mhm.
My question is, when did the lawyer drop off the stuff?
Hold on a second.
Just roughly.
Okay, so March 25th.
Okay, so just a week ago.
Yeah.
So in order
No,
to
I'm sorry. We received the email on February 18 and we drop it off February 25th. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So in order to save you money, I might wait. I mean, we could do it today if you want, but in
Okay.
order to save you money, to give them the chance to see if it actually sorts, I would say 90 days after he dropped it off or she dropped it off, and then go from there.
90 days. Okay.
I mean, it's not a science, it's an art, right? But like I said, we could do it today, but I
Yes.
think just to save you $6,000, I would do it at the 90-day mark. But I think probably ultimately you're going to be calling me back or emailing me and saying, Jim, let's go.
Okay. And how safe I am?
Safe? Oh, brother, you've walked back from the brink of deportation.
Yes, I know.
You're as good as
I'm came
Go ahead.
from the dead. I know that.
Yeah, you're as good as it goes. So if that, I mean, that's a good point. So if you're more worried about things and you want to sue today, let's do it. That's a
Okay.
good point.
All right. Okay.
Good job, man. You're doing great. You're so close.
Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you so much. You have no idea. I've been watching the show every time live, and I've been in line, but I was not lucky to get like today.
Well,
But thank you
I'm
so
glad
much for your
I'm glad you got
time.
through it, and we're ready to go whenever you are. Thanks, RT. Thanks for the call.
Bye bye.
Yep, that was a good one. Hina, mark that one down. That was a good one. All right, let's see what TikTok's got going on. Speaking of Hina. Can a visit to the prison be considered consummation? Well, first of all, I shouldn't laugh. I shouldn't laugh. But I did see on the news the other day that there's a guy who had committed multiple murders, and he had a conjugal visit set up with his wife, and he actually killed his wife during the conjugal visit. So here he is in prison, and he had a conjugal visit, and he killed his wife. So that, I shouldn't have laughed, but that is why I laughed. So let me go back to the question. Can a visit to the prison be considered consummation? I would say, I hate to say, that you would probably need documentation that it was in fact a conjugal visit and not just a visit through glass or whatever. I think you'd have to get some kind of documentation from the prison, or I suppose an affidavit from you would be okay to demonstrate consummation. I think, but I don't think you can just rely on the fact that they offer conjugal visits at the prison. I think you actually need to show that yours was, in fact, a conjugal visit. Wanda, is there any possibility of the U.S. government requiring their citizens to denounce any other citizenship once you become a citizen? Canadian, for example. Yes, everybody denounces their citizenship when they become a U.S. citizen. Do people keep both passports? Yes, they do. But you do definitely denounce your citizenship when you become a U.S. citizen, including Canadians. Fair income. Been undocumented. Can I adjust my status here in the USA after getting married to a USC? It depends, Sir Nickum. Were you inspected? Did you come across the border? You can get your green card based on marriage to a U.S. citizen, but it's a lot trickier if you entered without inspection. But just being undocumented, overstaying your visa, yes, you could get married and do it that way. All right. We're gonna go to G, then Giselle, then Good Man. Hello, G.
Hi, Mr. Jim.
How are you?
Nice. I'm fine, thank you. How about you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
It's nice to talk to you again. So I was on your show last month,
Yep.
and then I actually cried on your show. So I'm an F1 student, and when my work authorization came, I called you and I asked you like if I could stop going to school, and you advised me to go on with school to keep on. So I'm still in status, I'm in school, and I've been scheduled for the interview. But when I was going through my I-1485, I realized that the person who filed for us, on the place that they asked, have you ever worked in the United States without authorization? I actually worked on my F1 status, but he provided the details of where I worked. But when they asked, have you ever worked in the United States, he wrote no, like ticked no. And then, have you ever violated the terms or conditions of your non-immigrant status? He ticked yes. So my question is, did he mess it up with the no and the yes? And how do I correct it
I
at the
mean,
interview?
you'll correct it at the interview. I would look at that video I have on the errata sheet, write up the answers the way that you want them, and then go that way, right? So this is a green card based on marriage to a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and who helped you fill it out? Like a fake lawyer?
Somebody who is good at it. He's not a lawyer, but he's good at it. So he helped a friend of ours. The friend got it. So when it got to my turn, he said he knows I don't have money. He knows how to do it. So he's going to help us do it. And then he did it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world. Really, it sounds like you said you worked on your F1.
I did.
Do you mean you worked on campus in the way you're supposed to, or that you worked with your EAD that you got?
No, I worked on my F1, not when the EAD came, on my F1 illegally outside campus.
Okay. Yeah. So yes, I worked without authorization, and yes, I violated the terms of my visa. So just correct that.
Okay.
And I like to type it up and bring it in so you hand it to them, so there's no doubt about whether, because sometimes if you hold that back and you don't hand it to them in writing, then they like to say, well, you didn't admit that until I caught you. So it's better to start the interview with it so no one can say they caught you. Does that make sense?
Okay, so I should type them in like I have worked on my student visa, yes, and then I have also violated the terms and conditions of the non-immigrant visa.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a big deal because he listed where you worked and he mentioned that you did violate the terms of your visa. So it's not like you're really trying to hide anything, but we just don't want to give them anything to hit you over the head with.
Okay. And my partner, my husband, his driver's license is not in our current address where we stay.
You got to fix that shit today. Go fix that today.
Okay, he did it today, and he's telling me that the card will come in 30 days. So can he use the temporal one they gave him for the interview?
Yep.
Okay.
I mean,
thank you, Mr. G.
Did they take the old one, or he has the old one too?
He has the old one too, but I don't know. I'm actually in school now, but he only told me they gave him a temporal one.
Yeah, so I'm just saying he should, when he goes to the interview, bring the old green card and the temporary piece of paper that they give him.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Let us know how it goes.
I appreciate Mr. G.
See ya. All right, that was our friend G. Let's go to Giselle. Hello.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
I can. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Thank you for listening to us and giving us your advice.
Sure.
Okay, so I was born in Nicaragua, and I entered the country in 1997 legally. And since then, I was a minor. My parents applied for TPS Nicaragua, and I have been under that protection ever since.
Wow.
In 2019, a whole bunch of things happened. I used to take care of my mom. She was a cancer patient. Her passing, COVID, my health decay. I mean, I was in ICU and completely overlooked renewing my TPS.
Oh.
And I was put on dialysis. I mean, I was health wise, I was at the bottom.
Yeah.
There was an automatic extension, and in my messed up mind, I assume wrong. I had to re-register as usual, but because they say automatic, I assume, oh, I am good to go. And they said until March 2025. So bottom thing, I failed to renew. So I went out of status, and I was completely innocent, clueless about me being out of status. After that, in 2019, I met my now husband. We dated for 2 years, and then we got married in 2022. And we have been married, and we file all my applications, like 6 applications, like 30A, da da
Sure.
da. I receive an RFE, yeah, request for further evidence. I reply, and then they deny the application because I prepared by myself because we were short on money.
Yeah.
And I have a background in HR, so I made the mistake of doing it by myself. We did it and submitted, and I made so many technical little mistakes, and they keep on sending me RFE. And at the end, they denied the application because I submitted a request for a waiver of the fee of one of the applications that did not apply to me. So they denied the application. I spoke to 2 attorneys after that, and both agree separately. They say the only thing stopping you from requesting again is just send the applications again. There were too many technical mistakes. Send it again. So again, $3,000. I send all the applications, and I'm waiting now. So I received my EAD. My I-30 was approved the first time, so I just sent in the approval notice along with all the other applications.
Good.
So I'm waiting. Now, my big question here and my only concern is my out of status from 2019 until this point.
So, your spouse is a U.S. citizen,
He was a born U.S. citizen.
and you said at the very beginning, at the top of the call, you said that you entered legally. I assume that means you had a visa and that you came like on a plane, or how did you get here?
I came with all my family, parents, 3 brothers, myself, and my dog. And I was a minor. They came and immediately they sought asylum, and my dad put me under a TPS status.
So, in other words, so the big thing I'm trying to figure out is whether or not you were properly inspected or paroled into the United States, and now it's sounding like you weren't.
When we entered through the LA airport, Los Angeles International Airport, on a plane, they gave me authorization to stay until 6 months. And within that period, my dad took care of all the children's cases. We were all underage, and he put us on asylum for the boys because they were put in Russian military schools in Nicaragua against their will. So that's why my dad were flying that country.
So
So
what I'm trying to figure out is, okay, so that's good. I'm glad you went to the airport. That's helpful. We're getting somewhere. Did did your parents go to the U.S. Embassy in Nicaragua and get a visa to come to the United States back in '99?
Yes,
Okay,
we all had visas. All of us entered legally with visas, American visas.
perfect. Okay, so and I assume and hope with all my being that you have some kind of proof that you were inspected, like you have a stamp in your passport or you have the visa or whatever. Do you have?
I have the I-94 in my passport.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. Everything is documented. When I entered, they gave me an I-94. I had the American visa. I have all those documents.
Okay. That's that's the most valuable thing you own, right?
Yes, I have everything. And before that, I wanted to mention back in 1992, 1993, I was only like 10 years old. My dad entered the country for the first time. My parents and brought the children. And they sought asylum the first time.
Mm.
And it was strange because I don't know how, but three of the six members of the family, their asylum was approved. I have a letter back then where my asylum is approved, but I also saw a notice, and I don't know when this happened. I'm just looking at records um, of proceedings to for my parents to go to court. So before they went to court. My dad voluntarily self-deported,
Yeah.
and this is my recollection, right, of from what I'm reading.
Hmm. Were you here then?
I was here, and I was maybe 11 years old. So my asylum, I do have a document that says my asylum was approved, but my dad self-deported with the children. So we left the country before that proceeding took place. And then we returned in 1997 with visas.
Right.
And when I applied the first time for my green card through my marriage,
Hmm.
um, the in the interview, the lady told me, "Did you enter before?" And I said, "Yes. When I was a child, I came with my parents." "And were you in proceedings?" "Yes." "Do you have anything?" And then I showed them that we left. But then I went to a judge in San Francisco in 2024, just so that the judge will give me a clearance. And I do have that clearance from a judge that we self-deported and everything was closed
From an immigration judge?
from an immigration judge.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
just wanted to mention that.
it sounds like you've done everything that you can possibly do. I think you're on the right track.
Well,
I think
my only concern, sir, I'm sorry for interrupting you,
you're fine.
is that my TPS, my last TPS approval ended in January 2019. And then I was clueless about being out of status. In fact, I worked 6 months at an IT company and they e-verified me. So in the best of my knowledge is I am a legal foreign alien authorized to work. So I
Hmm.
did work for 6 months on a contract at an IT company while I was out of status. And then in 2022, when I got married, I was out of status, of course. So that's my main concern.
So that'll all be forgiven if your green card is approved. So as long as you're honest about it, disclose all those jobs, tell them that you worked, tell them that you blew your deadline on the TPS renewal because you were sick. I think that it's certainly still approvable. You still have a path to get your green card. Couple things I would think: number one, you might want to have an attorney go to your interview with you, and number two, it sounds like maybe you've gotten some old records, but I would definitely do a FOIA of your case, of your whole file, your alien file, your EOIR file, your immigration file. I'd get all of it before that interview.
I did, sir, and I have it, but I, I begged over backwards to get those records because they told me it's been over 20 years and those records do not exist. They are sent somewhere else. So they gave me what they had, and I saved that.
I think you're
And
in
I
good
have
shape.
the
I think you're in good shape.
Okay, I definitely called your office, and it was strange because they say, which lawyer do you want to talk to? And I didn't know there were more than one lawyer. I thought it was just you.
Yeah.
But anyways, I would love to hire some help because I was overconfident thinking I can do this on my own to save me
Yeah.
money, and I end up paying double for sending
Yeah.
the applications twice. And now I am a wreck, all nervous
Mm.
because I was a child when I came to the country. I tried to enlist in the military twice because I love the military. I mean, I don't I don't really remember much about that country, and the threat of separating from my husband and to be sent there is just nerve-wracking. So I definitely want a lawyer and to look at my case. I did not make any other technical mistake.
Can you send an email today? I know you called the office already, but can you send an email today to info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com? Say, this is Giselle. I was on the show with Jim from Nicaragua at the 40-minute mark, info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. And I'll make sure that we set you up the right way, okay?
Okay, thank you. And again, thank you for helping us all because this is extremely expensive and you're just giving us advice for free.
You're doing great. You're doing a great job. And I'm glad you're healthy.
Thank you. I'm much better. I'm waiting for a transplant, and my husband Joe has been extremely supportive. And thank you for everything.
You got it, kid. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
What a nice lady. She's trying to do everything she can to do it right, and I think she's really close. We'll see if we can help her. I liked her a lot. This is the Immigration Answer Show. We got about 10 minutes left. I'll go back over to TikTok and see what's going on. All right, 273 PC charge, pleaded 242 PC 2007. Is it safe to file for citizenship or renew? So I love this. That's from Peachy. So I don't even know what state that is. I don't know what a 273 PC charge is. I don't know what a 242 plead is. So that goes to the point that there are 50 states, and each state has their own statutes for criminal law, and each state has their own definition of what constitutes a crime in that state. So I could never tell someone over TikTok or YouTube, oh yeah, you're fine to file, without knowing what the charge is. We have to look. It's literally one of the most complicated things we do is trying to see if the state conviction matches the federal definition of the crime and whether that renders somebody deportable. That's something we charge for because we have to do a lot of research. It takes a lot of time. It's just not easy to just look at the statute and see what's what. We need a lot more information than that. Izzy, I just filed for my N400 and U.S. National Guard. I also file N426s is fine. What more documents do I need to upload? I think it's okay. I don't know what other documents. You just have to prove up that you're got the good moral character, that you're in the military, all that stuff. Black Stylist, if a U.S. citizen files an I-130 for her spouse abroad without filing the I-130A, what's the implication? Hurry up and file the I-130A because they'll reject the case or deny it. Ali Swiper, no swiping. I filed the K-1 visa while my fiance was in the USA. Is that okay? Sure, that's okay. But they can't stay while it's pending. That doesn't give them the right to stay. If they were in the United States, though, you probably maybe didn't need to file the K-1. The whole purpose of the K-1 is for them to come to the United States and get married. So perhaps, maybe, you could have gotten married and just done it that way. Jaron Skang, is USCIS setting up interviews to detain overstays who's adjusting their status? I'm worried about that, Jaron, but I haven't seen it yet. So I'm waiting for that to happen. So far, we haven't heard any stories about that. My husband received a DS-221 after interview in Nairobi. How long should we wait before suing? Well, it would depend on why they got a 221G and what they're asking for. Got to figure out what is the holdup. Why aren't they approving the visa in Kenya? The triple Ks. Husband just got citizenship March 1st. We married in 2019. Can I apply for my citizenship? I had my green card in 2021. So the rule is that you have to be married to someone for 3 years, and you have to be married to a U.S. citizen for 3 years. You haven't been married to a U.S. citizen for 3 years. You've only been married to a U.S. citizen since March 1st. So you've been married that long, but they weren't a citizen for all 3 years. So that wouldn't apply to you. You're going to have to wait till next year, the 5-year rule, to apply. Adonai, what happens if I change my address while waiting for my second asylum interview? Well, I would make sure to notify not just USCIS, but also the asylum office itself that did your first interview. So if you think you have an interview coming up, make sure that I would hand deliver it with an address change to them at the asylum office. How long does it take to close a deportation order in Connecticut? My understanding is those are taking forever because no one can get the judge or the government to look at the file. All right. So with that, we'll go back to the show over here and talk to Goodman. Hello.
Hello, Jim. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing.
Sure.
So my question is that I'm married and my spouse is a student on F1 and she's still going to the school. So last 2 years I was in school, but last year I worked. So when you look at my taxes, I only have just 1 year of taxes. But my brother in the military is willing to give us affidavit of support. So this year I filed my taxes this year for last year. So that is my first question. That can my brother in the military give us affidavit of support? And also, I'm about to move to a different state, but I want to probably send in the application. So if I move to another state, can I easily do a change of address? And also, after I file, can my spouse still keep going to the school because it's very expensive for us at the moment? So I just wanted to know what is best that we can do in this situation.
Okay, so first of all, so you understand that even though your brother could be the co-sponsor, that you still need 3 years of tax returns, even if you made no money, that you still need to support all your documents, your W-2s or whatever, and you need proof that you paid whatever taxes you owed for those 3 days, right? You understand that?
Yes, please.
Even with a co-sponsor. Okay, is your co-sponsor, I know you said he's in the military, is he a U.S. citizen or green card holder?
He's a U.S. citizen.
So he can be the co-sponsor. And then now let's talk about the last question, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So how long has she actually been in school?
She came to school August of last year.
And when she went to the State Department and said, hey, I need an F1 visa to come to the United States, what degree did she say she was going to get?
A master's degree, please.
So
in business.
A 2-year program.
It's a 2-year program, yeah. But she's gonna be done her first year in I think she'll finish her first year this May.
And she told them that she had enough money to support herself for the whole 2 years, right?
Yes, please.
And then does her university just happen to be in the same state that you live in?
No, I am in a different state and she's in a different state.
Did you know her before she came to the United States?
Yes, please.
And when she came to the United States, she went and lived where her school is. She didn't come and live with you right away.
No, she's in her school. Just that I occasionally fly there, and she also occasionally fly to me in my state.
Mm-hmm. So you're talking about filing an I-130 and 45 where the couple lives apart.
Yes, please. Because at the moment she's in school, so we don't live together.
Mm-hmm. And so you were thinking that you would apply now with 2 different addresses and then you're going to move in together, or what?
So the goal is that I am going to move to a different state for work somewhere in the summer. So I was thinking that, do I use my current address to file, and when I move to where I'm going to start my new job, then I change, or is it better to wait? Because I don't have an apartment at the new place that I'm going near.
You're asking the wrong question about addresses.
Okay.
The right question to ask is, Jim, is it going to be a red flag if I file an I-130 and a 45 for my spouse and we don't live in the same place? That's the bigger question.
Yeah, that's true. That's my question, though. Sorry.
No, you're fine, buddy. No, I'm just making sure that we're talking about the right things. So,
okay.
So here's what I would say. If we went ahead with your plan and filed now at your current address, and then you listed her address wherever her school is, and then you moved and you didn't move to where she lived, so now you're introducing a third address and you're still not living together, I think and then you're going to say, we're going to have her drop out of school because it's expensive. I think you're just creating lots of red flags that you don't need to create.
Okay.
So from USCIS's perspective, they would ask the question, if you guys aren't living together and you only see each other every now and then, why are you getting married other than to get her a green card?
Okay.
So this is what I say whenever a couple lives apart. What's the long-term plan? When will you guys be living together?
So at the moment, what we were thinking was she getting a school locally close to me so that she can switch and go to school at where I live. So that's
like, when is that all going to happen?
We've already applied for schools, but we've not really gotten admission or anything yet because she's currently at her current school, which the semester is going to be over in the end of the in May. Sorry, the beginning of May.
So this is a good example of how you should prepare for your interview. I asked you, when are you going to live together? And you gave me a bunch of stuff, but you didn't tell me when you're going to live together. So listen to my pretend I'm the immigration officer.
Okay.
When are you going to be living together?
May of 2025, after she's done with school, after she vacates, so that she's going to start a new school.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
So that's perfect. So then what I would say is, are you already married?
Yes, please. We got married last month.
Let's not apply until we're living under the same roof and we have one address.
Sure.
That's going to eliminate all kinds of problems for you.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It makes a lot of sense.
Starting off with two different addresses when you're going to be together ultimately during the pendency of the case, unless somebody's like under the gun, I would just wait. Get it on file, and then everything, and make sure you have driver's licenses at that address. You have a joint lease together at that address. You know, you're gonna be develop lots of good evidence by using that address. But if you file now with two different addresses and you go see each other every now and then, that's not nearly as strong. I think you're in a much stronger position once you both have a point of reference, and then you just go from there.
Thank you so much, Jim. I really, really appreciate the insight you've given me on this.
Good call, brother. Really appreciate that. Yeah, for sure. Love it. Keep us posted, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yep. That was another good call. People learn a lot from listening to Good Man. Those were all really good questions, and I loved how he said please. I saw that Whistlene's father passed away. Whistline, I'm very sorry about that. I'm sorry that you can't get back to Haiti to be there for him. You know, my dad died 3 years ago. He's right up there. I miss him every day, and so I'm sure that you're sad. And I'm sure it makes it extra hard that you weren't there. But I'll be thinking about you. I'll say a prayer for you over there in a little bit. And I hope that you hang in there. For all the Haitians, I feel sorry for everybody that's freaked out right now because of Trump and what they're doing to the CHNV people, but specifically the Haitian people. There aren't many worse places on earth right now, I think, than Haiti. So my heart goes out to you, Whistline. Also, somebody said, I just wanted to read this. I got in trouble yesterday for something I said on the show. Somebody, a little spy, reported to Amani that I was telling on her for saying that I wasn't working very hard when I was just making videos. And so I got in trouble for that. So now I have to be careful about what I say because people are reporting back to Amani. And so I did want to pull this up from Joseph. Hi, Jim. Over the weekend, I watched one of your mock interviews with your wife, and I must say your wife is a badass. How did you meet her? Was she very difficult at first when you met her? She's actually, I'm going to get in trouble again. I've told her all the time that she's actually chilled. She's actually mellowed over time. If you can believe that. She's only 5'3" or 2, depending on who's measuring. But she's a little spitfire. There's no doubt about it. And, we have a new mock interview coming up. We just filmed it. We got a photography team in here. We had 3 cameras. Amani is again reprising her role because everybody likes it when she's mad and mean as an immigration officer. And Adela was the spouse, and Tom, attorney Tom with our office, was the husband, and I was the lawyer. And so that should be coming out pretty soon. So we'll have a new mock video. We need to do a citizenship interview and probably even an asylum one. Those are just really long. But the new mock interview with Amani, unless that's the one that dropped, I don't think it's dropped yet, but the new one should be coming out here real soon. All right. So as I mentioned, I'll be traveling in the days to come. I am going to do, knock on wood, inshallah, a show tomorrow. And then Thursday and Friday, probably no show. And then this weekend's all up in the air because I'm traveling. So we'll see. I just got a text from somebody saying still not pooping. I don't know what that means. But in any event, I'll be on, but it'll be short notice stuff. You guys got to be ready. If you've ever wanted to get in and ask me a question, you definitely should text the word show, SHOW, to 314-470-3300. And then that's how you get into the waiting room when the show starts. I'll see you guys on the next show, hopefully tomorrow. And it looks like we're only 4 away from 800. So that should be fun. Thanks everybody on TikTok. Thanks everybody over here. And we'll see you next time. I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion.